You are watching
Hundreds of
Xirtus.
Beavers. I'll have to check it out. I did just watch Rock and Rule. Rock and Rule. We talked about it recently
I want to
on
see 100 of beavers, man.
based. Yeah, we will. Everyone should watch that so we can talk about it
Oh,
next week.
I know what you're talking about. I know this. Rock and
Is this
oh,
what's his name? Batsky? Was it?
No. This is Nelvana. So Nelvana, who you'll know from later works, but at the time they'd only done like Canadian things. They'd done The Devil and Daniel Mouse, and they'd done a few strange things. And they had this great
I
idea.
know
They made
this.
this movie. This is the most important animated film after like Fantasia, and probably I would say one of the most important films of all time, along with
I
Metropolis,
don't
Star
know.
Wars.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
it's
That's
huge. No,
old.
it's like Star Wars, Snow White. It's like as important as Snow White.
Nothing Canadian can go on a list like
All right,
that.
Okay,
challenge accepted. Challenge
first of all, Will Morgan, I have this thing that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, a rule that I have to hold against myself too, which is basically that if I haven't watched a movie, or even if I haven't finished a movie, I can have an opinion, but that opinion I can't take it as I can't say it with any authority whatsoever. Like it really drives me nuts if somebody has an opinion about any
Okay.
media that they
Well,
haven't seen.
let me
Free
tell you the
select.
plot. I'll read you the plot. I'll read you the plot directly off
You
of
can't, you can't do that.
Wikipedia.
This is fucking Lenny Bruce would have to give his stand up
Yeah,
to the jury for them to know.
let me tell you the plot, okay? And the plot is it's more than a plot. Like this is like a thing that happened in history. So it's more than just a movie, all right? And so it starts out with this Nelvana company which has government funding, and we got to go back further. You got to go back to the 40s because Canada, British government run, had a deal with Walt Disney where they brought in Walt Disney to build a British animation studio in Canada, and they train them so they know how to make cartoons like the Seven Dwarves, the Canadian Seven Dwarves Stamp Tax Act, and they had them doing all kinds of stuff. So this is a military psyop started company, and then Nelvana's making all kinds of stuff like The Devil and Daniel Mouse, and then they are on cocaine because it's the 70s, and they meet Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Blondie, Cheap Trick, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
All of them say we'll make original songs that have never been heard elsewhere, by the way, besides this movie. They made amazing hits. This movie is filled with amazing hits by the greatest artists of that time. I mean, like,
for the record, that's the only reason I watched it, is because the amount of talent that was like
oh my God.
throughout.
Blondie does several songs that are just, I cannot believe you've never heard them elsewhere. Lou Reed does the song about the devil and the great invocation. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah.
Hold the phone. So I feel like I was lecturing Will, and you're telling me you've seen this movie from beginning to end.
I've seen this movie so many times.
No, not you. Will.
Oh, Will
Yes.
has seen this movie? You have seen it all the way through. Okay, great.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
stand
it's been a
reflected.
while
Excuse me,
because
sir.
I didn't. It's a very sinky movie, first off, but it's
100%.
also like I say, like it's musically driven. Definitely music. Like it's an intense movie.
Yeah. All right. Now go ahead and read the synopsis. I'm actually interested to hear what their synopsis is.
Okay, so Mock Swagger instead of Mick Jagger, right? A legendary rock musician is on the search for a very special voice whose frequencies can unleash a powerful demon from another dimension. His dwindling popularity driving him to destroy the world in vengeance and immortalize himself in the process. After traveling around the world looking for the right voice, he returns to his hometown of Ohmtown, a remote slum-ravaged village famous for its unique power plant. Meanwhile, at a nightclub, Omar, Angel, and Dizzy and Stretch perform in a small rock band. As Angel performs her romantic ballad to a mostly empty audience, Mock hears her sing. He realizes that Angel has the voice he needs when a ring he is wearing reacts to her voice. Mock invites Angel and the band to his mansion outside of town, where the band is formally introduced to him and his assistants, the roller skating Slepter brothers, Toad, Sleazy, and Zip. Mock incapacitates Omar and Stretch with hypnotic Edson balls as he takes Angel on a stroll.
They're supposed to be Edison balls, I think.
And tried to convince her to join him. Like, long story short, it's very K Dicky, and It's very K. Dickian.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Probably the last book that Philip K. Dick was going to write or to write before his death was something called like City of the Owls or something similar to that. I'm way off base what it was called, but it was basically along the same lines of like this idea of music and frequency and opening.
It's like there's a lot about the pop culture thing. So first he's a star who's losing popularity, and he's like a 50-year-old coked out rock freak, and it's amazing. They like the amount of drug, like he literally breaks up a rock of cocaine and becomes the rock of cocaine and becomes like a powder, and he's like crushing up mountain statues of himself. Like this is out of control. Like, and this was again made by CBC, but then he has to wire to the circuit board because his supercomputer, and it's like the supercomputer is this amazing AI system that has 3 personalities and it's a brain system that's helped him figure out that this is the right frequency. And he needs the audience because he has to sacrifice the audience to the demon in order to raise the demon up, which is why he has to have these huge arena shows that are going on. So there's just so much to the mechanisms and crap. Like it's really clear about how he has to do his ritual and what the point of the spell is, and to a larger extent. But one of the tragedies is this movie was edited by the Americans, kind of like Metropolis and a lot of other films. It's been edited and kind of destroyed. You cannot find the original copy exactly. Like the film was lost and destroyed in a fire. So the American, but there's hope. But the American version has a lot of the scenes. There is a Canadian VHS rip. The difference is the Canadian version has a different voice for the main character, which is a better voice. And the American voice is, the Canadian voice is the better voice, and the American voice is a stranger voice. And it throws off the story. The audio editing is weird. Like clearly he wasn't part of the original thing, and the Americans just didn't like the star, or they wanted to make him more of the star than the villain, or I don't know.
Well,
like
there's a real big furry vibe in the whole thing.
Well, because again, they used to make
a lot
Disney
of sex, and they're not really humans. It's uncomfortable.
They are Disney mutants. It's because they made Disney stuff.
They're
Again,
furries,
Disney.
bro.
This is what happens when Disney builds a British psyop animation studio in Canada. They make goofy characters, but it's also supposed to be that these are like evolved mutant rodents and Disney-like characters. This is like the realist. They're trying to understand probably for decades, like, why are we doing this? Why are we getting paid to make Disney characters? How does this happen? And they're thinking, well, probably, some sort of a nuclear disaster destroyed humanity, and the evolution of mutated rodents led to the Disney characters. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how this movie, this is like, these are the kinds of thoughts that they're having in Studio 54, which is again, like a major thing.
Where
like,
this basically is. This is basically.
They call it Club 666.
Yeah. it's basically animated version of Club 6. It
is.
Crazy.
It is like, so like Ralph Bakshi, because it's interesting when you said that. Like Ralph Bakshi said things and showed things that would get you killed if you were. He's the best documentarian. Because rather than film anything, he animated it so he didn't get in trouble. Essentially, he showed real life in so many ways.
I heard that there was a recent acknowledgement or apology from him to the guy that did Cheech Wizard. So, like, because he took the character for God, what was that? Wizards, the movie Wizards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, like, the Cheech character, the guy with the weird hat or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, this guy. So this was another artist, and he took issue with his character being used in Wizards without any, he didn't ask, there was no permission. But recently, I guess, Bakshi acknowledged and apologized for him blatantly just taking that, but it's funny because at the time when you look at like the music industry and stuff, it's like people were taken from each other all over the place and was just considered a compliment.
And so, to be fair, his wizard looks different. Like, where's his wizard? This is what his wizard
barely.
That's
wasn't there? Is that all? Just I thought
his main protagonist, and then he's got other characters. Like he's got things that are kind of similar, but like not just the hat on a little character.
Not exactly the same. Yeah.
Similar vibe though. He's a little curmudgeon-y guy.
Very similar vibe. Very similar animation anyway.
But to be fair, like it's New York. I mean, what are you like? They're in the same art scene.
I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's just
This
I
is
actually
definitely highly reminiscent. I'll give you that. Like this is clearly
right. I mean, well,
font style.
that's the thing is you were overtly inspired by somebody and just kind of ran with it, and I think that should be taken as a compliment. It's one thing if you do that and then you're just like have attitude about it and there's no acknowledgement. Like, you know, Mr. Bojangles is a really good song from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, but you know who made that amazing? I can't remember. But yeah.
I just want to say Zip stays dead. Someone did make a fan edit of Rock and Rule using as much of the footage they had from, you know, the nice quality American copy and putting whatever scenes they needed to from the VHS Canadian rip. And
Dude,
then
they're furries, bro. They're totally furries, bro.
so you should watch this movie. It's free on archive.org. All right. Just wanted to say Rock and Rule.